Chapter 8. Hospital Visits and Seizures. I, as expected, received an almighty bollocking from Miller. I think he burst a few blood vessels, judging by the pulsating vein in his forehead. I grabbed something from the fridge and dropped it down on the sofa. I spun the can idly in my hand while Miller continued on his rampage behind me.
Agent Clarke, are you even listening to me?
I rolled my eyes. I was not up for his BS today. Or ever, to be honest. Not really, I replied, popping the Red Bull can open and taking a gulp. Miller growled through his teeth.
You cannot just stray away from a mission, Clarke. It's not in our code.
I sighed. I didn't stray from the mission, asshat. I was after Levi, the leader. Ring any bells? I snarked back.
I swear to God, I'm about 3 seconds away from hitting you.
Miller hissed. Whatever. It was pointless anyway, I replied dismissively, taking another gulp of the energy drink.
What was pointless?
Going after them. It's exactly what they wanted, I replied, untying my hair from his tightly done bun.
How do you mean?
Miller asked, sitting up a little straighter. Think about it. 4 bad guys, 2 good guys. Logically, in a comic book, each good guy would take on 2 baddies each, right? I began. Miller frowned.
I was never into comics.
I rolled my eyes. Whatever, the point still stands. But they knew there was only going to be 2 of us, so they gambled on it. They took a calculated risk, and it planned out the way they wanted it to. Levi knew you were going to go after Jack or Clarice, and he knew I'd be after him. That's why they all split. At best, we'd only catch 2. By the time we'd get them back to base or a place of secure holding, the other 2 would have found them and broken them out. We played right into their hands, I finished, spinning the empty can in my hands. Miller stared at me. What the hell are you staring at? I snapped. Miller turned his head slightly but didn't break eye contact.
I genuinely don't know if you're being sarcastic right now or if you just don't know.
I rolled my eyes and sighed loudly. Miller, sweetheart, if I knew what you were talking about, then I wouldn't need to ask, would I? Miller glared fiercely.
Fine, Miss Smartass. I'll tell you. The bottoms of your shoes are covered in blood. Now, unless you have your period out of your feet, I suggest you tell me what the hell happened earlier.
I frowned and pulled my ankle on an angle to see the sole of my boots. True enough, they were covered in blood. Funny story. Long version or short? I asked, sitting up straight and swinging my feet off the sofa. Miller pinched his nose with a sigh.
The less illegal version.
I snorted. So, the short version. Alright, I was after Levi. He fell off a wall and broke his ankle. I went to arrest him, but someone caused me to shoot, even though I warned them several times that if they continued, I would shoot. I explained as best as I could. If I said who that someone was, then it'd open up more questions that I wasn't up for answering. Miller was quiet for a moment, clearly processing what I just told him.
Am I to guess that they also tried to assault you?
The word assault made me freeze. How do you mean? I asked quickly. Miller frowned and stared.
Punch? Hit? Slap? Did you hit your head or something?
I shook my head. I'm fine, Miller, just a bit shaken is all. It's not every day you shoot someone, is it? I tried to smile to alleviate some of Miller's worry, but it came out more like a grimace. Miller didn't seem convinced, but left it alone.
All right, then. I'm going to go grab some food from the supermarket. Do you need anything?
He asked, still frowning at me. Honestly, when did this man not frown or scowl in some way? A pizza and some chips would be nice, I answered. Miller paused and pointed at me.
Now, do you mean chips? Chips as in the crunchy things in bags, or chips like fries?
I stared at him, deadpan. Miller, when have you ever known me to refer to crisps as chips? Come on, man, obviously the chunky potato things you have with dinner, I exclaimed, standing up. Miller shook his head and grabbed his coat.
You British people and your weird food names.
I stood there for a few moments, gathering my thoughts. I looked down at the now brownish-red colour blood on Sandy's floor. I must remember to clean that up before Miller gets back. Truth be told, I didn't even realise that Mason's blood had reached my boots. I walked into her kitchen and rifled around, trying to find some bleach. Bleach gets rid of blood, right? Or was it vinegar? Maybe I'll try both. I found some bleach under the sink and began hunting for vinegar. I know she has some somewhere. She practically had a bowl of vinegar with a dash of chips, unless she drunk the damn thing before leaving. Oh well, bleach it was. I grabbed the bottle off the side, grabbing a sponge and some gloves, safety first kids, and headed back into the living room. I poured a little on the blood stain and began to scrub. The cleaner began to foam and bubble a little, turning a steady rust colour. I found the bubbling and scratching sound the sponge was making oddly soothing. I almost fell into a trance. I found myself thinking about the last few hours. I'd seen the man who's single-handedly ruined my life, some gang member pitied me, and Jack found out about Emily. I scrubbed. I thought about the abuse Mason subjected me to and the trauma it had left me with. I scrubbed harder. I thought about Jack, who, years after the incident, had only just listened to his voicemail. That shows how highly he thinks of me. I pressed down on the sponge harder. I thought about how I finally earned some respect for how good I was on my job, by a gang leader no less, for the look to be replaced by pity. I scrubbed furiously.
Clarke!
I shook my head, trying to find the source.
What the hell are you doing?
I dropped back onto my haunches and rubbed my head. Cleaning the blood off the floor? What does it look like, Einstein? I snapped. Miller huffed and dropped the shopping bag on the kitchen island.
Scrub any harder and you'll break the floor. I don't know about cleaning it.
I sat in silence for a moment. Then I glanced at the clock, silently thankful that it read 22:57. I'm going to turn in for the night. I didn't realise how late it was. Miller made a frustrated noise and gestured to the food I asked for.
What about these?
He asked, glaring. 1, stop glaring all the time, you'll get lines, I teased. And 2, just put the pizza in the fridge and the chips in the freezer. I'll have them for lunch tomorrow, I said, walking into the kitchen. I kicked my boots off and dropped them into the sink. Leave them, I'll clean them tomorrow as well, I said over my shoulder as I retreated to my bedroom. Night, sweetheart, I called sarcastically. I could hear Miller grumble something, and I smiled, shutting the door. I hated to admit it, but Mason's appearance shook me to my core. I promised myself that I wouldn't let him own my life or my thoughts anymore, but he did, and I hated it. He controlled my world without even being in it. It felt like he was still in my house, on my clothes, behind me, breathing on my neck. I shivered, the memory burning hot in my brain. Walking over to my bed, I grabbed my phone charger and plugged it in. The device buzzed as the power rushed to the battery. The screen blinked to life, displaying a collage of 5 pictures. Me and my mum on my 14th, me holding Emily when she was a few minutes old, my best friend pretending to hold the Eiffel Tower, a tattoo of mine that I've got on my elbow, and a beautiful sunset from home. They might seem like silly little things, but to me, they meant the world, so let me explain. The picture of my mother and me on my 14th was the last birthday I had when everything was normal. Mason hadn't been involved in wrecking my life. My mum still had her screws in. Jack had just visited. I'd done my GCSEs. Life was normal. The next photo is me and Emily, my world. I do want children in the future, but you never know how life will go. Plus, it's not every day you get to hold your firstborn, even if you do have to give them up. My old best friend, before he tragically passed away, was everything to me, and I miss him every day. Our friendship started when our school took us for a weekend away to France in year 3. He was lonely, I was lonely. 'Twas a match made in heaven. Now I'm joking, but we did become friends quite quickly. When we moved into our old house, he was my neighbour. Up until the day he went missing, we hung out all the time. That photo remained a favourite of us. My other 2 pictures, the tat and the sunrise, were both extremely important to me. Both Emily and I are Libra, and I have a small Libra sign with a rose wrapped around it just below my elbow. We weren't technically allowed tattoos in the FBI, but so long as it couldn't be seen or marked as an identifying feature, it was okay. And finally, the sunrise picture. It was sentimental to me as it was home, but on that particular day, I found out about my job with MI5 and the FBI. I logged into my phone and scrolled through Instagram for a bit. I sighed wistfully as Sandy flaunted her Vegas getaway with her hubby. I do wish someone would whip me away on a vacation, but alas, I'm as single as a Pringle. I still remember the first time I met Sandy. Summer 2000. Danny is 8.
I don't want to go.
Suck it up, Astrid. I don't particularly want to go either, but we have to.
But why? If you don't want to go and I don't want to go, why do we have to go?
Avalon bent down with a stern look.
Because we've been invited to your godmother's granddaughter's christening party, and we will go.
Danielle groaned loudly, but complied nonetheless. By the time they got there, Danielle's mood had only worsened.
My dress itches.
So does mine, but you don't see me whining about it. Put a smile on your face and suck it up, or you're grounded. Now, I'm going to get a drink. God knows I need it. So go and make friends, or say hi to Jane.
Her mother sped away towards the drinks table, and Danielle drifted over to a timber trail set. She climbed up to the top of the structure and sat, watching the celebration play out.
Hi,
Hi,
I'm Sandy. Who are you?
I'm Astrid, but everybody calls me Danny.
The girl grunted as she clambered up the structure. She swung her legs over the wire rope and dangled by her knees.
I wish I could do that.
You can. It's super easy.
But I'm in a dress, and my mum would kill me if I ruin it.
Oh well, you only live once.
Sandy giggled. Danielle copied the motion.
Fine, but you can tell her it was your fault.
Danielle inched off the post and onto the wire rope. She swung her legs over and hung by her knees. Danielle's dress drooped by her face, but she didn't care. She shrieked and giggled with Sandy.
This is awesome.
It's even funner if you rock.
Sandy laughed as she moved her torso back and forth. Danielle copied and found herself crying with laughter.
So why does everyone call you Danny?
Danielle sighed and wiped her eyes.
Because my name is Danielle, well, my name is Astrid, but I don't really like it, so I use my middle name.
Astrid is such a cool name. I wish mine was that cool.
My mum's is even cooler. Her name is Avalon.
Ah, that is cool. Can I meet your mum?
Astrid Clarke.
Danielle gasped and pulled her dress away from her face.
Tuck it between your knees.
Danielle fumbled with the cotton dress.
Get down from there.
Danielle shoved it between her knees and smiled sheepishly at her mother.
What are you doing?
Danielle opened her mouth to speak, but...
We're hanging like monkeys.
And who are you?
I'm Sandy.
She's my new best friend.
Avalon raised an eyebrow as she looked between the two girls.
Can Sandy come for dinner tonight?
Sandy nodded with a grin. Avalon sighed.
Not tonight, because we're staying with your aunt tonight. But she can tomorrow if she would like.
Sandy's grin widened as she swung down from the wire rope.
I'll grab my dad. You stay here.
I always smile when I think back to when Sandy and I first met. She was always a little on the mouthy side, but not in a rude way. It took a while, but my mother eventually warmed up to her. In fact, it took 3 years before my mother liked her enough. We'd been friends for 13 years now. God, that's over half my life. Looking back on it, I owed a lot to Sandy. She was one of the people who I regularly confided in. She stuck by my side during my visits away, she was there for me when my siblings stopped visiting, and she helped me through the problems with Mason and got me feeling more like myself again. Winter 2011. Danielle is 19. Sand, I don't want to go out, Danielle whined.
Come on, it'll be fun.
I'm not ready for a relationship, Sandy, Danielle whispered as she sat down on her bed. Danielle put her head in her hands and sighed quietly. She felt the bed dip beside her and Sandy's hand resting on her shoulder.
I'm sorry. I didn't realise you were still struggling.
Danielle shook her head. I'm not. I can't risk another baby. I can't go through that again, she sighed.
Ast, we aren't going to do anything like that. We're just meeting up with some of your friends and going out after.
Danielle turned to look at her best friend. Promise? She asked. Sandy chuckled and linked their pinkies.
I promise. If it makes you feel better, I'll be a professional blocker.
Danielle laughed. They went out to her local nightclub in Cambridge and were still out long after the others went home for the night. I'll grab the next round. Keep an eye on my coat, Danielle said, grabbing her purse.
Sure, can I have a Caribbean sunset?
Sandy asked. Danielle nodded. Coming up. She made her way over to the bar and placed the order. 2 Caribbean sunsets, please, with an extra shot of Smirnoff on the side, please. The barmaid nodded with a smile and made off to do the orders.
Rough week?
A voice asked to her left. Danielle huffed a chuckle. Surprisingly, no. Just my first night out in a while, she answered. The dude laughed.
Same here. What brings you out then?
He asked. Danielle raised an eyebrow and sat on one of the bar stools. My friend wanted to come out. You? She answered.
Just a promotion at work.
Danielle smiled. Congrats, she trailed off.
Oh, Matt. Now, what name belongs to your beautiful face?
Danielle laughed. Wow, that was smooth, she complimented. I'm Danielle. Lots of things have happened to me in the recent weeks. For example, I've made friends with an enemy of the law, I got picked up for a top-notch FBI mission, I celebrated my 22nd, and I kneecapped my abusive ex. But one thing did surprise me. When I woke up the following morning, I was not in my bedroom, unlike where I'd fallen asleep. I was instantly assaulted with a strong smell of disinfectant and blinding white light. What the hell? I mumbled, throwing an arm across my face. I was expecting Miller to be there, pulling some kind of prank, a flashlight in my eyes maybe. Oh, how I couldn't have been more wrong. No, I was in a hospital room. That would explain the antibacterial smell and the blinding white light. It would also explain the slight ache in my arm, thanks to an IV drip. I seemed to be alone in the room, with just the TV playing quietly. I pushed myself up on the pillows into a relaxed sitting position, wincing a little at the sudden pounding in my eyebrows. I couldn't see nor work out why I was in the hospital. I went to bed, as usual, with no issues except slight anxiety. So how the hell did I end up here? I let the TV play for a small while, it broadcasting some show about 2 girls trying to make a living in New York, while I waited for a nurse to come in and do nursey things. I dunno, the meds are making it hard to think straight. At least, I hope it's the meds. Oh god, what if I fell out of bed and brained myself on the side table last night? What if I've got a concussion and can't do my job anymore? Thankfully, before I could let my mind wander into the depths of thick anxiety, a nurse walked in.
Oh, you're awake. How are you feeling, Miss Clarke?
Confused, I answered, frowning.
That's pretty common after a seizure.
I blinked. Pardon? After a what now? I echoed. The nurse frowned and pulled out a torch.
A seizure? Do you not remember it?
He asked, waving the light around in my face. I squinted and flinched away. No, obviously not, I snapped. The nurse raised an eyebrow and jotted a few things down. Can you explain, please? I asked, rubbing my arms. I wasn't cold as such, but I wasn't warm. I think it was mainly anxiety, and over the years I'd found rubbing my arms helped me ground and focus me back into reality. He looked at me kindly.
How about I go find a doctor for you? They can talk you through it all.
He bustled out of the room, letting the door close quietly. How on earth had I had a seizure? To my knowledge, I'm not epileptic. I didn't go to sleep with a fever, and I don't have any allergies that would cause me to do so. Unless I developed a brain-melting fever at night. I don't know, but I didn't like it. I pulled up my wool blanket while I waited for the nurse to return with the doctor. It reminded me of Grey's Anatomy, that hospital show. They always had people arriving with illnesses they didn't know they had. I began daydreaming about Derek Shepherd walking as my doctor, but alas, he did not. A lady doctor walked in with a smile on her face.
I'm Dr. Black. I hear you had a seizure last night.
I don't know. I went to bed like normal and woke up here, I answered. She nodded and wrote something down. Do you know what caused it? The seizure.
So, as is standard, we took your blood last night as a precaution for the sedatives. The results came back earlier today, but they weren't very clear.
I nodded.
So, if it's okay with you, I'd like to take some more and run a few more tests before I can conclude.
Whatever you need to do. I don't want another seizure.
It's probably nothing to worry about, Miss Clarke. People have seizures all the time, and most of them come out of them okay.
I sighed and played with the IV in my hand. Is there any way you can tell me what caused it? Dr. Black flicked through some pages on my chart with a frown.
Not really, not until I have some more data to look at, but from what I can see on a brief scan, you had extremely high levels of sodium in your blood, so that was probably what caused it.
I sighed in relief. While it wasn't a diagnosis, it was something. When will I be able to go home then? I asked.
Probably later this afternoon, provided I like your blood results and they are within safe parameters.
I nodded with a smile. Great, thank you. Dr. Black nodded back and began to make her way out of the room.
Oh, before I forget.
Yeah? I asked.
2 people came by to visit you, an Agent Miller and your husband.
I frowned. I'm not married. Dr. Black looked a little embarrassed, but she chuckled lightly.
Maybe your brother then.
I frowned. No way it was any of my brothers. I haven't spoken to Simon or Thomas for years, ever since my mum was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy about 3 years ago. And it sure as hell wasn't going to be Jack. If he was spotted at all, he was to be arrested and detained in custody until Miller or I arrived to speak to him. An order from Agent Evans stated so, and it was US-wide. Do you know his name? I asked. Dr. Black frowned and looked down at her clipboard.
I believe his name was Mason.